The smell of starch and baby powder still lingered in the air from the night before. I had ironed Lily's yellow dress 3 times, just to make sure. There was not a single wrinkle. Today was her big day, her school's end-of-term party. She was going to dance, sing, and stand proudly like she always dreamed. She'd practiced every evening for weeks, dancing in our small bedroom while I clapped along. "I'll wave at you from the stage. Mama," she giggled yesterday, twirling in circles. That morning, I was up early, excited. A little nervous, I packed her shoes, her glittery hairband, and her snack box. I was about to go dress her when I heard her. My mother-in-law, standing in the doorway of the kitchen, like a judge delivering a sentence. "Where do you think you're going?" she asked sharply. I held up Lily's backpack, trying to stay respectful. "It's the school party, Ma. Lily's performance is today." She folded her arms. "That child's not going." I blinked. "Ma, you heard me. Chloe is representing the family. What is Lily going to showcase?" "That she's average." She turned and dumped a pile of dirty dishes in the sink. "Start with these, then mop the parlor, we're expecting guests." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. She's been rehearsing for. She'll survive, do as I've said. Behind her, I saw Lily standing at the corner, her little backpack on, eyes full of hope. When our eyes met, she smiled, and something in me shattered. I looked down, nodded slowly, and walked to the sink. But inside me, a quiet storm had begun to rise. The sound of dishwater splashing against the sink drowned out my daughter's silence. Lily had gone back to the room quietly, after I told her she wouldn't be attending the party. No tantrum, no questions, just a quiet, "Okay, Mama," as she took off her little shoes. That broke me more than if she'd screamed. My mother-in-law sat in the parlor with her legs crossed, sipping tea like royalty, calling out tasks every few minutes. "Claire, sweep under the center table. Claire, make sure Chloe's hair is neatly packed. Claire, don't forget to polish the glasses." Chloe, of course, was bouncing around in Lily's shoes. Literally. She wore the same silver sandals I bought for Lily's performance. I didn't even know how Madame Moore got them out of our room. Chloe posed in front of the mirror, spinning like a ballerina. "They'll clap for me," she grinned. "Granny said I'll be the best today." My hands trembled as I scrubbed the floor. Lily sat by the window, coloring. She was so quiet, so still, it scared me. The same child who used to hum while brushing her teeth. Now mute, like someone turned her volume off. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to scream. Instead, I cleaned the house top to bottom, while Chloe and Madame Moore left for the party, arms full of snacks and decorations. When the front door slammed shut, I sat beside Lily and said softly, "I'm so sorry, my love." She looked up at me with the saddest smile. "It's okay, Mama, maybe next time." But even at 6, I could tell she didn't believe that. Neither did I. The house was too quiet once they left. I tried to busy myself, folding laundry, reheating leftover jollof rice, anything to stop my mind from spinning. But every time I passed Lily, still curled up by the window with her crayons untouched, I felt the same stab of guilt. I failed her, again. Around noon, my phone buzzed on the countertop. A message from Ada, a mother I used to talk to at Lily's school. I hesitated before opening it. It was a video. "School party, Group 1 dance" was the caption. I tapped it with shaky fingers. There was the school hall, decorated with balloons, music playing in the background. Then came the children, walking on stage in pairs, waving proudly. And right in front, wearing Lily's silver sandals and that butterfly hairpin we picked out together, was Chloe. She was performing Lily's part. The same choreography Lily had practiced at home for weeks. The same formation. Chloe missed a step midway and bumped into another child. There was awkward clapping. But I wasn't even watching the dance anymore. My eyes were locked on the back of the room, where a teacher was flipping through a list. And Lily's name, yes, Lily James, was clearly written and crossed out in red pen. I paused the video. My hand flew to my mouth. Someone had removed her name. Deliberately. My legs gave way, and I slid to the floor. Lily was still at the window, unaware. My mother-in-law didn't just stop her from going. She stole her place. And worse, she made sure no one would ever know. But now I did. And that changed everything. I couldn't stop staring at that red line. It was just a stroke of ink, but it sliced straight through my heart. My daughter's name, Lily James, was there in black print, typed neatly like all the other students. But someone had taken a pen and dragged a single line through it, then scribbled Chloe Moore above it in all caps. They didn't even bother to print a new list. They erased her like she didn't matter. I felt heat rise in my chest. All the years of quiet endurance, all the times I'd let things go just to keep the peace, boiled inside me like a volcano preparing to erupt. Madam Moore didn't just stop Lily from going, she replaced her. That evening when they returned, I pretended nothing had happened. I smiled and opened the door, helped collect their bags, and watched Chloe wave her little plastic trophy around the house like a queen. I told you she'd steal the spotlight, my mother-in-law said smugly to James. I watched my husband nod without enthusiasm. Yes, Mama. I said nothing, I didn't want to fight, not yet. Later that night, after dinner, I crept into Chloe's school bag. I needed proof, something physical, something I could hold. There it was, the official program of the party. Lily's name was printed under the opening dance segment. It had been crossed out in pen. I looked closer and recognized the handwriting. Madam Moore's. My fingers curled into a fist. She went to the school, she submitted that change, she orchestrated everything. And while I washed dishes, my daughter was replaced, humiliated and forgotten. Not again. This time, I would not stay silent. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lily's little face, hopeful, then confused, then blank. That quiet okay, Mama, still echoed in my chest, like a scream I didn't allow her to release. My mother-in-law's laughter drifted from the other room. She was still basking in the glory of her perfect grandchild's performance. Meanwhile, Lily had become a shadow in her own home. I turned to look at Lily, as she slept beside me, her tiny fingers curled around the edge of her pillow. I had protected her from illness, from bullies, from everything I could. But I hadn't protected her from this. Family cruelty dressed in control. And I was done. The next morning, I walked Lily to school myself. She held my hand tightly, looking unsure. Am I in trouble? I stopped and knelt beside her. No, baby, you're the bravest girl I know. When we arrived, I asked to see Mr. Daniels, the school principal. I waited as the secretary gave me side eyes. I didn't care, I wasn't leaving without answers. He welcomed me into his office with a tired smile. Ah, Mrs. James, how can I help? I pulled the folded performance program from my bag and placed it on his desk. I need to understand why my daughter's name was removed from this list. His face stiffened. That request came from your mother-in-law. She said it was a family decision. I assumed you approved. I stared at him. I didn't. I watched the unease settle in his eyes. I'd like a formal apology from the school. I said calmly, and Lily will be reinstated for the next event. This won't happen again. For the first time in years, I felt my spine straighten. I had found my voice. I thought Mr. Daniels would make excuses, blame the mix-up on office staff, or claim the performance list was finalized. But he didn't. He nodded slowly, clearly embarrassed. You're right, Mrs. James. What happened wasn't fair to Lily. He said, we should have confirmed that kind of request with you, the actual parent. I took a deep breath. You're going to apologize to her, to my daughter, personally. He hesitated for only a moment. I will. That afternoon, a formal email was sent to all parents in Lily's class, addressing the performance list incident, and noting that a student's name had been removed without proper consent, and it included an apology to Lily James by name. I didn't show it to my mother-in-law right away. I waited. When James came home and sat in his usual spot, I handed him my phone. Read this. He frowned, scrolling through the message. As he read, I watched his expression shift, confusion, then guilt, then something close to shame. Your mother submitted a false request to remove Lily's name. I said softly, you let her do it, and I let you. He looked at me, silent. I'm not doing this anymore, I added. I won't let her erase my child just to make someone else shine. He opened his mouth, but I stopped him. Don't defend her, James, not this time. That night, he told his mother about the email. The silence that followed was heavier than a slap. She didn't apologize, of course not. Instead, she said, so now she's turning the school against me. No, I thought, I'm turning the silence against you. And it was just the beginning. I didn't plan for it to go viral. I hadn't even shared the video myself. That morning, as I was braiding Lily's hair before school, a message popped up on my phone. It was from Ada again, the same mom who'd sent the earlier clip. Claire, is this your daughter's cousin? This video is trending. Everyone's asking why she replaced another child last minute. I opened the link. There was the footage of Chloe on stage, dancing clumsily in a sea of coordinated children. The crowd clapped out of courtesy. Then the camera panned briefly to the printed program taped to the back wall, zoomed in just enough to catch Lily's name crossed out in red. The caption read, when favoritism replaces talent, why was this child removed? The comment section was already exploding. This is wicked. You don't erase one child to uplift another. Let's normalize protecting children from family politics. I scrolled, stunned. Someone else had noticed. Someone outside this house saw what I saw, and they were angry too. By noon, the school issued another statement, this time on their official page, announcing that they would review their event approval processes. They never mentioned names, but everyone knew. The clues were there. James called me from work, his voice low and nervous. Ma saw the video. I didn't say anything. She's furious. Good. When I got home, my mother-in-law was pacing in the living room, phone in hand. You did this, she said, eyes sharp. You want to embarrass this family. No, I replied calm. You did that all on your own. For once, she had no comeback. Because this time, the world was watching. She waited until James was home to make her move. I had just served dinner when my mother-in-law slammed her phone onto the table, shaking the cutlery. This nonsense video has ruined our family name, she snapped. James looked from her to me, then back again. Ma, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. Claire has been poisoning this family from the inside, turning the school against me, spreading stories online. I stood quietly for a moment. Then I wiped my hands with the kitchen towel and faced her. Are you denying you wrote that letter to remove Lily's name? She froze. James turned toward her slowly. You wrote a letter. She waved him off. It was necessary. Chloe is more presentable, she speaks better. She fits the part. I felt something snap inside me. Do you even hear yourself? I asked, my voice rising. You took my child's name off a list she earned her place on. You humiliated her. And then you sent me to wash plates while your preferred grandchild stole her spot. She's just a child, she said with a dismissive wave. Yes, my child, not yours to erase, not yours to silence. James stood, stunned into silence. For once, I didn't need him to speak. I had found my own strength. She will never go through this again. I continued. I don't care if we're under the same roof or not. If you ever pull her down to lift anyone else again, I will walk out of this house and take her with me. For a long moment, there was silence. Just heavy breathing and clinking dishes. My mother-in-law turned away, her face dark with fury. But she didn't say another word. Because she knew she had finally lost control. By the next morning, the story had grown legs. What started as one parent's video had been picked up by a parenting blog. Then a local lifestyle page reposted it. Then a radio host mentioned it during his afternoon segment. A grandmother pulled strings to erase one child and replace her with her favorite. What message are we sending our children? I didn't post anything. I didn't have to. By evening, Mr. Daniels from the school called me personally. Mrs. James, he said, his voice strained. We're conducting an internal review. There have been several complaints. Apparently, this isn't the first time your mother-in-law's made such requests through her network. I wasn't surprised. She had always been powerful, always had people. She will be barred from any future school decisions. He added, only you and your husband will be recognized as guardians for Lily. I thanked him, my hands shook. But not from fear this time. It was relief, validation. James got home late that night. He sat beside me in silence, before finally speaking. I didn't know she went that far. I did, I said. I just didn't want to believe it. He looked away. I'm sorry, Claire. I should have stood up to her long ago. I didn't respond. I didn't need an apology. I needed action. Later that night, I found my mother-in-law on the balcony, staring into the dark. You embarrassed yourself, I said softly. Not me, not Lily. She didn't reply, just sat there, her phone on her lap, buzzing with missed calls and unread messages. For once, her power didn't shield her. This time, the consequences had found her. And they were just getting started. It's been 2 months since that day. Since I washed dishes while my daughter's name was quietly erased. 2 months since a storm I never started changed everything. The house is quieter now, not in a tense, waiting for an explosion kind of way. Peaceful. My mother-in-law no longer speaks over me. She keeps to herself, spending most days behind closed doors, afraid of the whispers she once caused in others. Her reputation took a hit in the community, and I didn't lift a single finger to defend her. I didn't need to. The truth defended itself. James has been more present, less apologetic, and more intentional. He walks Lily to school twice a week, helps with homework, asks questions he never used to ask. And Lily, she's blooming again. The school gave her a spotlight in the next event, a solo recital. They let her tell her own story in her own words. She stood on stage in her yellow dress and said, sometimes people try to hide you, but that doesn't mean you don't shine. She looked right at me when she said it. I cried in public for the first time in years. I also started something new, a blog, small, anonymous at first, where I write about the unseen battles of women like me. Wives, daughters-in-law, mothers who have swallowed silence and served with trembling hands. Now women write back. And I'm not so invisible anymore. I didn't start this story to fight. I didn't set out to make a point. But when they crossed my daughter, they awoke the part of me that remembered I had a voice. And now, I'll never let it go quiet again. Please like, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to our channel for more stories.